Hey everybody, welcome to Too Old for Comics. My name is Steve.
I'm Mike.
And welcome to once again to our weekly comic book review show, which last week I had a killer name for what we're going to call the podcast going forward. It escapes me right now, but it'll come to me by the end of the episode. I'll definitely, and we'll let you guys know what it is. And going forward, we can finally properly have a title to this little song and dance we do as far as reviewing comics go.
So Steve, you did that countdown. You're like 3. I did 2, 3. I did 2, 1. We should do like Wayne's World. We should be like 5.
And
stop shaking your heads, Wayne's.
Oh my God! I hope they make another Wayne. Actually, I hope they don't make another Wayne's World because I think that the time has come and passed for that. I would like another Austin Powers movie. But
I think there was a rumor that Wayne's World was coming back for one more episode.
We'll see.
One more movie.
He did well, you know what? Just doing small doses. He did a little cameo on Saturday Night Live a couple of years ago where him and Dana Carvey came back. That's good enough for me. You don't need to. I mean, I don't know.
That's been way too long for they were basically teenagers. I think they were. Well, they played teenagers.
Dana Carvey was definitely not a teenager.
Yeah. They played 20-year-olds,
yeah.
I should say. I think if they were going to wait to see how Bill and Ted does, the third movie, and then they'll go from there. But
you bet Hollywood was gauging that and be like, hey, how about the Gen X version of Bill and Ted when we try that out? I actually watched an interview with Mike Myers a little while ago, and like they were asking him, like, how come you don't do like this and this? Like you pass all these parts, and he's like, I made a ton of money off Austin Powers and Shrek. And he goes, now I just play in an over 40 hockey league and bum around my kid because I can.
I think he was in Inglourious Basterds or one of those World War II movies as like a British general. And I'm like,
he was, and he was in Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody too.
Yeah,
I hated that movie so much, but anyway, we're not here to talk about Mike Myers. We're here to talk about comics. Me and Mike both got a title, and then Patrick's gonna jump on like you do. Later on in the episode to talk about all things bat related because he's just hogging all that Batman stuff.
I was tempted to do Detective Comics, but I figured either Patrick was going to do that. Plus, it's a $10 book, and then the 2 Star Wars books came out, Darth Vader and I think Star Wars #8. I think. I'm like, Patrick's probably going to do these books, so I'll just let him.
Well, you know what? Detective, obviously one of the books is Detective 1027, 1027, which is a big anniversary issue. We can save that for last because there's more than enough book for this to go around. Did you read it at all? Or?
No, I've only had a chance to read my book because
okay.
I've been nose deep in my Elgato device trying to figure that out for the video game stuff. And then,
sounds hot.
You should hear my delayed voice. It's very off-putting. So, but I'm going to get the video out anyways because it's done. Let's dive right in.
Let's jump right into it before Patrick ruins everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about the one. I really didn't read that many comics this week, only because I had some things going on. The kids started school this week, and it's been a little hectic. But one book I really wanted to check out was the new Iron Man #1 that
I almost picked that one myself.
I checked. It has those sweet Alex Ross covers. We got Dan Slott. He's all done his tenure on Iron Man, which, it was a little hot and cold. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it. I liked it for the most part, for what it was, but it's over now anyway. And we got a new writer, Chris Cantwell, and the artist Cafu, I think you say his name. They did a Doctor Doom miniseries not that long ago. That was pretty critically acclaimed. A lot of fans liked it. So I figured I'd check it out and see the back to basics Tony Stark. And right from the get-go, it's very it feels very back to basics. Right from the logo, you got that old the original 70s 80s logo with the bolts in them, which you remember from the old Iron Man cartoon that was back on the 90s. It's Iron Man. He's like, hey. But it's a pretty good. So far it's only 1 issue in. The art is pretty good. The art's almost kind of like a digital painted type style. Tony looks how he did in the 80s and 70s, where he has like that kind of like big, not big hair, but like, very wavy 70s type hair with the he doesn't look like the Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man they've been trying to push for a while in the comics, but it feels very much like one of those Michelini, Bob Layton type Iron Man-ish, as far as like a throwback, kind of like you see that feel to it a little bit. As far as story goes, again, like I said, it's Tony. We set the book off where Tony's fighting Terex from Fantastic Four, that big alien guy.
Yeah.
Who a lot of people confused with Ronan the Accuser. But so
they're very similar though.
Yeah, I mean, like, Jack Kirby. I mean, you just have to repeat yourself after a while. But so he's fighting him, and the whole time, like, you're seeing like Iron Man be Iron Man, and then Tony kind of like you hear him like while he's fighting Terex, he's talking to his armor, and he's talking about how he basically sold all his. He's bought himself out of Stark Industries or Stark Unlimited, whatever it is, and they gave him this huge, like, multi-billion-dollar payout, pretty much. And he's like, okay, there's my exit package. He donated some to some charity, and donated some for a safety net. And it's basically Tony in this issue, kind of like he's getting back, like I say, getting back to basics, where he moves out of the big ivory tower, moves to an apartment down in not like a shitty apartment like that. We're not trying to make him Peter Parker or anything like that, but he moves to a more like more conservative type like settings like that. And so the whole time, this one thing they do inside the book is kind of cool is they have Tony like tweeting all the time. Every time he does something, he'll tweet something like, just stop Terex, like that, and like, everybody's okay. And the great thing is where it's like they do like realistic Twitter, where they'll be like, well, hey, thanks, you knocked the satellite out. No, I haven't had internet for 6 days. Like, and people are just like, anything he does, like, just shit on him. And like, and so there's another part where he has like this, like, party at his house to kind of like, hold on, we have Patrick coming. Let's admit him real quick.
Don't let him in.
Hey, how did I know that was going to happen?
He's always upside down.
Hey, Patrick.
What's up?
What's going on? Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
We're right in the middle of talking about the first issue of Iron Man that came out today.
Really?
We're halfway through it now. I talked to Mike. It feels like a real throwback to the 70s and 80s type Iron Man with like the wavy hair, and it looks very much like a Bob Layton, like that type like era.
Yeah. Have the mustache going.
What's that?
The porno mustache going.
You know what? I for some reason I want to say yes. I don't have the issue in front of me right now, but it does kind of. I feel like it's there. So anyway, we kind of like got get into it. I told Mike how it's like a back to basics Tony, how he's fighting like and so we're taking like Tony kind of going like for a more conservative type approach to like being like himself and like trying to find his roots pretty much and find his basic humanity after for so long during Slots Fund. We thought he was like a robot clone hologram type thing.
AI.
Yeah. So anyway, so Tony has like this party. I guess he says like, I'm having a party at my house with some friends, and like so he tweets about it, and people like classic Twitter. It's like, oh, for a guy who's swearing off technology, it's nice you're having a party with like a bunch of like billionaires at your house, and this and that. And so it shows Tony there. He's wearing like his regular leisure Tony suit, but he's wearing like bunny slippers, and like people are talking to him, and like they're trying to pitch him ideas. Like, hey, can you be a consultant on this? And he's like, I'm not interested in anything. And all of a sudden, Patsy Walker shows up at the party, and who I'm a huge Patsy Walker fan. Like
I remember Defenders. Oh, from the no, she was one of those models, right?
Patsy Walker's magazines. Well, Patsy Walker's Hellcat.
Yeah.
And Hellcat, which I love so much, is because, correct me if I'm wrong, Patrick. Patsy Walker, if you really technically is the first. She predates Marvel Comics, goes to Timely Comics. Well, the thing was, the Patsy Walker comics were Timely Comics, and those comics were written about a detective, Patsy Walker. But it ended up, they were saying that Patsy Walker was basically the author was writing about her daughter, which then ended up becoming Hellcat in the Marvel Comics, from what I understand.
No. You're wrong.
No, she was no, she was back then. Timely Comics was Marvel, and what happened, they used to have girl comics,
Yep.
where she was a model, basically. You know, like Millie the model. She was offshoot of that.
Well, that was Patsy Walker's mother, wasn't it? And then she wrote.
No.
She wrote. I'll have to double check on that. I don't know. Maybe this. We'll have to
No.
Google. Somebody Google
When
this.
they reconned it, when they brought the character back for the Defenders, she started in the Avengers, but when they brought it back, they reconned it a little bit. They're saying that was really her mother, but it was really the same character.
Okay.
Steve Englehart brought it back.
Well, anyway, Patsy Walker's, and then she's Hellcat. And so she meets Tony, and like she's kind of busting his balls. And there's this one guy who kind of like pulls like a Killian from Iron Man 3, where it says like, hey, I know you're probably gonna say no to this, but like, I had this like thing that I'm working on. You gotta come see it. Because they go down to his basement, and he's like, I figured out a way to harness lightning. And so like Tony Stark's like, no, you can't. That's impossible. You can't harness lightning. It's like a strike from lightning is like an atomic bomb, pretty much. You just can't just harness it in a bottle. And the guy's like, I'm telling you, I figured it out. And so he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna pass on this anyway because you sound like a kook. And so him and Hellcat go out, and they see a real throwback, the Unicorn villain from back in the day.
Oh my God!
He's stealing some version of the Bible, something like that, whatever, and they bust him up. And one of the I think it's only like one of 12 copies in the world ended up getting destroyed, something like that. But they saved the robbery, whatever. And so he tweets about that, and it shows like saying like oh, just so you know, the one out of 12 copies get destroyed. Sorry, but everybody's safe. And people are like busting his balls again on Twitter and talking shit to him. And then the last comment is like just some meme like, hey, look, here comes Fat Tony, and it's like a Photoshop version of Tony fat. And then the last thing it shows like Iron Man like count deleted, like deactivated. Where he's like, I'm fucking done with this. So the last page of it, you basically have them kind of like figuring out what's going on with the guy Unicorn, and also this big huge lightning blast comes and strikes Tony, and they're like, what the hell was that? But it's obviously the guy who's trying to pitch the idea to Tony, and it shows him with this big sinister grin on his face. And so that's where the issue ends pretty much. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a pretty solid issue. I mean, like I'm pretty excited. Like I said, that Doctor Doom series that the writer did beforehand was pretty good. And I've been trying for years to be since Kurt Busiek's been on the title. Back in the 90s, I've been trying to get into Iron Man. I just can't do it. I tried to get on Matt Fraction, couldn't do it. And
Matt Fraction, so it was some glory, but not a lot.
Yeah, his best one was Sal LaRocca was doing the art, and we're talking back in the podcast days.
This is back right when like Iron Man, the first Iron Man movie was with the start. The Invincible Iron Man.
I think it was when the book was pretty good when it was Iron Man dissembled. I think.
That's the storyline.
Yeah, when Norman Osborn, good segue into the next book we're gonna do. Norman Osborn was the Iron Patriot.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly. That was a great storyline.
I just feel like they for the while Marvel's been trying to like turn the comic book Iron Man to the Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man, which is fine. He works great in the movies, but you can't translate that to comics really. And they do in the cartoons and everything else. And it's like just have that separation, like because Tony from reading early comics, like he's more based on like almost kind of like a Howard Hughes type character almost.
Yeah, that was Stan Lee's inspiration.
So I mean, like I kind of like that take. I do like this take right now. I was excited when Slott took over and they kind of like made it seem like he was gonna kind of delve back into the alcoholism thing.
God, again.
But I mean, they didn't end up doing that. But yeah, so I'm gonna pick up issue 2 and like see where this goes, because I mean, for me, the Bronze Age of Marvel is my favorite era of Marvel. So I mean, I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, that's my review of Iron Man #1. 2 big iron gauntlets up.
Nice.
So Mike, so we're gonna segue into Osborn, I guess.
So I did Amazing Spider-Man: The Sins of Norman Osborn by Nick Spencer and Federico Fistini. I'm probably butchering that name, but I
feel like I've seen his name before somewhere on the book recently.
His artwork is very similar to Otley's. I had to do a double check to make sure that it wasn't Otley doing it. Not like a carbon copy, but similar.
Why would Ryan Otley be on a Spider-Man book?
Exactly. Even though he was premiered to be on it, he does like, I think he might have done like maybe 10 issues.
Yeah.
For Christ's sake, so out of 50. But
he's actually done much more, but it feels like that though.
Yeah, because it's been so few and far between that you kind of forget.
Yeah.
I mean, last podcast, I forgot he was the artist, for Christ's sakes. I couldn't remember his name. It's been so long. But so this book takes place right after the Amazing Spider-Man that I reviewed last week. Basically, the Order of the Web, what they call themselves now. I know I call them the Web Warriors last episode because that's basically what they were. But they all had like these visions of Norman Osborn killing Peter. Miles had one of the when he was in the Ultimate Universe of Norman Osborn killing him, Peter, and so they all want to stop Peter from saving Osborn from being cleansed by the Sin Eater.
Mm-hmm.
So they're basically just talking the whole I was gonna say episode, whole issue on whether or not to get Spider-Gwen. It's like I don't know if I should. He has his reasons and whatnot, and they're like, no, we got to stop Peter because we all had these visions of Norman Osborn killing Peter. Julia Carpenter, the new Madam Web, actually had a vision of Kindred killing Peter. So the thing is that the plot is Sin Eater's still trying to get to Norman Osborn. Peter's now in Ravencroft trying to save Norman Osborn. They're trying to go deeper into Ravencroft to get away from all the Sin Eater's followers and whatnot. And we find out that Dr. Kafka is still alive. And she gets...
Is it old frumpy Kafka or hot 90s Kafka?
Hot 90s, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So I don't remember if she was brought back during the Clone Conspiracy. If she was... I don't remember her even never dying.
She must have, because she did die during Slot's run, so she must have came back during Clone Conspiracy.
So, yeah, because, even the Sin Eater got brought back during the Clone Conspiracy, too, so...
several times after, even in the Venom book and everything else.
So, as we all know, Kindred kind of brought back Sin Eater as well and put him on this mission to try and, start cleansing all the villains and whatnot. And, there's something different. There's something else going on with that we're unaware of right now. And that's what Peter's like, well, this doesn't seem right. There has to be something else, some side effect, or this won't last forever, whatnot. And so as they keep Norman Osborn and Peter keep fighting, Norman Osborn obviously has his goblin powers still. And they get to that padded room where he was, all walked up when he was when the Kindred was talking to him. He actually has a
hairy puss.
Look at that pussy. Okay, that pussy just threw me through a loop. So Norman Osborn actually had a secret room behind that padded room with all his goblin stuff, all these type of computers, where he had this super secret villain who was going to, he couldn't be stopped. I'm going somewhere with this. He was unstoppable. He was supposed to be able to just plow right through him. He'd be able to stop the Sin Eater, no problem. And we find out that it's the Juggernaut. Has been in Ravencroft. And then when I thought that, I'm like, why would he wouldn't be in Ravencroft? He'd be in the vault, if anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
really?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of, but like,
right.
Does the Juggernaut thing get resolved by the end of the issue? Or?
So two things happen here. Martin Lee gets cleansified, as we all know, as Mr. Negative. Because in that last issue of Amazing Spider-Man, this guy in a hood went down to Kindred where his secret base was. He wanted to get cleansified, and that was Mr. Negative, Martin Lee.
I feel like you're making up the word cleansified.
No, I think it's here. What is it called? Cleansed. Well, I probably made up cleansified, but they're being cleansed of all their sins, or their sins are being eaten away, or whatever you want to call it. Sounds
like, what's his name? The guy who used to sell the ShamWow, like, and you've been cleansified.
Yeah, well, I'm bringing that word back, and right here on this podcast, right here, ladies and gents.
Kaboom, fantastic. You've been cleansified.
Oh, the ShamWow guy. Didn't he get beat up by a hooker?
I'm thinking of Billy Burr, is that the guy who got the beard who died?
Oh, yeah, that guy just had loads of cocaine in his bloodstream, for Christ's sakes. That guy was loaded with cocaine.
Yeah, his nasal passage is cleansified. Yeah.
Same with that My Pill guy. He used to do a lot of cocaine, too. Now he's a Trump supporter.
Oh, my God. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Well, back to my cleansified review. So Norman Osborn, I'm sorry. Sin Eater shoots with his cleansifying gun, Juggernaut, and he gets, cleansed of all his sins. So there's also going to be a Juggernaut miniseries coming out. Is what happens here going to take place, and is he going to be reformed? Is this stuff going to be permanent? We don't know. Is it going to be, kind of like once Sin Eater is destroyed or killed or stopped, does everyone just go back to being their normal selves? So that's what the big mystery is, whether or not they're going to be good forever, or they're going to be just like, oh, I'm so sorry I killed your family, And
see, I thought for sure Nick Spencer being such a continuity buff, he would have threw in like a Juggernaut going after Julie Carpenter type thing where doing nothing stop the Juggernaut again with Madam Web, which I think would have been kind of cool. It would have been kind of nice, like, I see what you're doing there.
I mean, for me, though, that would have been a nice thing to see.
Yeah.
But, like, out of all the villains they could come up with, I think he was just a throwaway villain in this issue because it's like, one, he wouldn't be in Ravencroft.
No.
He would be in the vault. And if anything, I figured he'd be like, the new weird Professor X, whoever he is in the X-Men books, would somehow already have him, because most of the mutants all died and came back, and they're all being cloned or.
Yeah, you can't die, which doesn't make sense. I mean, some.
Yeah. It sounds very similar to the clone technology that the Inheritors used when they would die, and they had to go back to a cloned body. So
yeah,
who knows if that's a tie-in, if we just got that idea from them, but like. I mean, this book was all right. The arc was decent. It was a nice filler till we get to 850. I don't know if they'll go back to renumbering back then, but it was all right. There's a lot of the Juggernaut was a complete waste. So it was a throwaway villain, unless the events tie into his miniseries and it ties into the X-Men where he's cleansed.
It might. I get the feeling that since Norman Osborn is going to be in this and they're doing the whole cleansified gun, I think what's going to happen 850, which everybody thinks is going to be like, oh, another throwdown with Norman Osborn. I think Sin Eater is going to shoot Norman Osborn with the cleansing gun, and you're going to think he's cured of his evilness. So you're going to see Osborn working with Spider-Man seemingly for going forward until for a while in the comics, but secretly he's still going to be evil, and you'll get that fallout later on. But I think it'll go through a little era where Norman Osborn's kind of pulling a. Oh no, we listen. I can be your guy in the chair, kind of how they're doing in the cartoon with Dr. Octopus and Spider-Man. But I think you'll think Norman Osborn's a friend when he's actually a foe.
So that's why I kind of like. I know I kind of I'm bashing the whole Gray. I know a Joker storyline, and well, Mike, you seem to really be enjoying the fact that Norman Osborn's coming back. Well, the reason why I feel like I'm excited about the Norman Osborn coming back is because I miss the old Peter versus Norman and Spider-Man versus Green Goblin that we haven't seen in like almost 20 years. I'm talking back to like the end of post-Clone Saga run.
Yeah, we saw him in Red Goblin. We saw him at the end of Superior Spider-Man. I
thought we were getting that back at the end of Slot's run, but we weren't, unfortunately.
He popped up.
You remember who he was, and then he forgot.
I think it's a nice classic. We'll see what happens as far as if it ends up being Osborn good for teaming up with Spider-Man for a while. We'll see. But you mentioned the Joker one. God damn it, we good at the segues this episode because we're going to talk about our next issue, which is going to be, which I think is going to be something similar with the Joker, who you said you're also getting sick of. Batman number 99 by James Tynion and Jorge Jimenez. Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that cover.
And Nightwing back as Nightwing. Thank God.
Yeah, it's Dick. Don't call him Rick anymore.
Well, if going by the cover, if that's what you're expecting, then you might be a little disappointed in this issue. But take it away, Patrick. Batman 99.
Okay, well, this is Batman week again. This story's been going on pretty well.
Sorry.
This okay. I put it in your room right there. So he's looking for a switch right now. He's trying to switch in our room. Bye.
Bye.
See you, buddy.
All right. He's not just a ham. He's the whole pig.
He wants to be on here. He wants to be the star of the show.
He gets enough attention. Don't worry. So anyway, Batman 99.
Batman 99. Well, if you remember last issue, Batman gets clean of the Joker toxin, and he's back to being himself. He gets his family back. The gang's all together. You got Nightwing. You got Red Robin. You got Red Hood. You got.
Is he Red Robin or Robin?
He's Robin.
Okay.
He's Red Robin now in '99.
Oh, I'll take that. That's all right.
But you do have Dick Grayson in that horrible Rick Grayson Nightwing suit, though. In it.
Oh, yeah. But it's better than that stupid suit he was wearing as Rick.
And it's also drawn by Jorge Jimenez, so it doesn't look that bad.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, the art's really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The best, I gotta admit, not much happens. It's just basically a recap, but here's the thing. Bruce Wayne, he gets all the bad people back together. He has a plan, and they execute it. But the one cool thing was Harley Quinn. Because remember, what was the biggest complaint we had about these Joker runs in the last few years? He kills all these people, yet he's allowed to live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Harley is that voice. She's like, when does this end? What are you going to do? Just take him down? And he goes back to Arkham.
He'll just escalate again
next
time he comes back. Yep.
Yes. And basically, that's the crux of the whole issue. But it's good. It's not boring. It's not talking heads. And I'm going to fast forward because basically the cliffhanger is that they go to Ace Chemical Plant and
which looks just like the Tim Burton Ace Chemical Plant when you drawn by you.
Exactly. Hey, you know what? The Joker clowns are from Chris Nolan's Dark Knight Rises. Yep. So yeah, I mean, if you're in this spot, it's really a good issue. I wouldn't ignore this. My only fear is the ending's gonna suck. But guess what? You can tell Dan Didio's not there anymore.
Well,
it just feels like a breath of fresh air. Like you're not getting the same stupid crap.
Well, the dovetail off what you're saying right now. There's one scene where Batman's talking to the Bat extended family on the rooftop, and he says, like, I know the past couple of years have been rough, and he goes, but it's gonna, but you know what? I've learned from my mistakes, and I'm gonna be trying to be better now, and I'm gonna be better, and we're gonna be better. And I feel like that was like an apology for like the Tom King run, and everything is kind of comes as heroes in crisis. Like I don't know if it was, I don't know if it was meant that way, but it kind of feels like he was like apologizing for Tom King's run the whole time, pretty much.
No kidding. Oh my God.
Really good. You have that, and you also have that same ending scene where Batman, apparently he's had in his cape the entire time, pulls out a box and has Nightwing's costume. He's like, I found this, like, and he shows somebody, and so he has the Nightwing, but like it's corny, but all right, I'll take it. Like, I'm enjoying this.
Why not? I mean, God's sakes, we want Batman, we want Dick Grayson, we don't want this freaking bullshit we put up with for the last year.
I'm getting excited from what you guys are saying about this book, and how it seems like Batman's kind of going back to basics. It's back to the Batman that I love. Back the sidekicks. Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, my favorite Robin. I don't care if he's Robin or Red Robin. I don't care as long as he's the Tim Drake that I love.
The great thing about this, Patrick mentioned at the end, there's a cliffhanger where Alfred shows up again, obviously, but like the whole time you've had that green mist. It's kind of like reanimating these corpses. Joker says how he dug him up special for Bruce, and like he has his broken neck, and so like that's what Alfred. So the last panel is basically Joker saying, like, listen, you thought you were ready for this. Trust me, buddy, you're not ready for this. And it shows Alfred, and then it shows Joker in that, remember that preview suit that they had that silver George Clooney looking suit, the Batman?
Yep.
Joker has that costume, but he's like spray painted all and decked it all out, like all Jokered out.
Yeah.
So, and it's
it also looks like the, what was the Zack Snyder?
Oh, Batman
versus Superman.
Yeah, the Robin costume. And I gotta tell you right now, Tom McFarlane is doing the toys for DC right now. If they're not making an action figure line based on this Joker War storyline with Jorge Jimenez's designs, you should be making this action figure line. You have these like what's her name? Punchline,
Yeah.
Clown Hunter, this Joker suit. You have like Underboss and the design. You should be making action figures of these toys. Even just like his version of Harley Quinn, his version of Batman. They all look unbelievable.
By the way, James Tinian, did he create some of those characters, the Underboss?
They're all created. Within like 10, 15 issues, he's created a whole new rogues gallery for Batman.
He's done more in those 10, 15 issues than Tom King's done in his 2 effing years on this book.
Yep. I'm very happy because they announced during DC fandom that
look how angry Patrick is about Tom King.
I cannot get. But listen, you know what, Patrick? I'm reserving a few minutes for you to talk about another writer. We don't have time to talk about Tom King. Trust me, we can devote a whole episode on that because he has some books coming out too. But we're gonna, you know what? Batman 999. Oh my God! Issue 100 comes out next issue. Can't wait! What a creative team! What the most beautiful book on the stands right now. I don't care who you are. You're Alex Ross doing Iron Man covers. You're Jim Lee. The best art in a book right now is coming out of this book.
George Jimenez.
Buy it, flip through it, and hell yeah.
You guys convinced me to like Batman again, so that's a win-win.
All right.
You guys don't know my disdain of the current Batman.
You will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed by this. But we're not going to stray too far from Batman because we're going to get into the anniversary Detective 1027 anniversary issue. By a whole, I'm going to just rattle off the names for you, Patrick, because I have them in front of me right now.
Doesn't Tom King do a story in this?
Well, we got Grant Morrison, Brian Michael Bendis, Peter Tomasi, Marv Wolfman, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Mariko Tamaki, Scott Snyder, Matt Fraction, Greg Rucka, James Tinian IV, Tom King, and Dan Jurgens, all lending their voice to this. This is a big one, $10 book, right?
Yep. Basically, it's a graphic novel.
Yep. And which I think, honestly, after December, you're going to see some shakeups for the creative. Obviously, we know we'll talk about after Bendis leaving Superman. I think what they should do with both detective and action is turn them into big anthology books and just do what they're doing in this book right now. Only have different creators, but different characters. Because honestly, I pay $10 every issue for.
And I remember you mentioning that. Like, I agree with you on that. That's they should put like stories of Batman Beyond in that as well,
or like the Question, or the Creeper, or Back. I pay $10 a pop for that. No problem. I think this is 80 pages, right, Patrick?
Yeah. Actually, Detective in Action, they were both anthology titles back in their day. And in fact, it wasn't until the 80s that they phased it out that went completely Batman and Superman.
Like Action Comics should be a Superman family book. It should have like Lois Lane, had Jimmy Olsen book, Supergirl, even Crypto. Hell, give me a General Zod short story. I don't care.
You can have Connor Kent on there. You can have the new adult Superboy on there, and the Legion. That would be such a great idea.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. But as far as this book, I mean, it's kind of hard to break down every storyline. I mean, I guess we can Mike, did you read it at all, or?
No, yeah, like I said, I didn't have a chance to read much because I was nose deep in the Elgato stuff. So,
did you read the whole thing, Patrick? Or
I flipped through it.
There was some I skipped. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
There was,
Can you guys talk about the Tom King one and do it very slowly?
Tom King actually did, which he did a story, which wasn't as bad as the last part of his Batman run, but it was with Walt Simonson. He did the art, and what a waste of Walt Simonson.
The only cool thing about that, when they had the Bob Kane Batman suit, that was cool.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's nostalgic, but it worked for that story.
Yeah. There were a couple of cool stories. I liked how Chip Zdarsky did the art for the Matt Fraction.
Yes, that was surprising.
Yeah, well, Chip Zdarsky used to be the artist on Sex Criminals with Matt Fraction, which he did.
Yeah,
he's done some covers and for Spider-Man.
What a gem he is!
He is. He's
such. His Daredevil run was awesome. His Spectacular Spider-Man run was awesome. He's awesome.
It's funny. Go ahead, Patrick.
Spider-Man: No Life Story.
He actually tweeted a picture of the Detectives 1027 and said, he goes, DC Comics, what a bunch of idiots. They sent me, a Marvel writer, a copy of a DC book. Because he was like,
No, I just some reason Marvel does not give him. He should be an A-list talent over at Marvel.
Yeah.
But he's treated like B minus C plus. He really is.
I think Donny Cates gets Donny Cates does sell books. Yeah. I think Donny Cates, Chip Zdarsky, and Jason Aaron are the best writers of Marvel right now.
Yeah, but does Chip get the top books?
He has like 7 Eisner Awards. So
yeah.
he
has Eisner Awards, but I just remember a few years ago when they were bringing that back, Fantastic Four, and he was already doing Marvel 2-in-1.
Yeah,
and that book was great too. Like he's like,
yeah.
I can go on and on how much I have a new crush on him.
Yeah. Like, I think he's great, but maybe he's
phenomenal artist and a writer too. Apparently,
maybe he had no plans for
artist.
Yeah. Well, maybe he had no plans for Fantastic Four for a long run.
No, it was Dan Slott. He had first refusal in his contract.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, but I'm happy. As the work he is doing, I'm happy with. I love Daredevil. Yeah. And anything else he touches is pretty good. And I guess a lot of Marvel writers, I think, are doing some like Kickstarter and some indie work anyway now. Because I don't know what's happening going forward. But as far as other storylines, well, it's kind of I get kind of a list. Kelly Sue DeConnick did a one with John Romita Jr. John Romita Jr. I don't care. I think John Romita Jr. is still churning out some good stuff. I like his Batman.
This was pretty good. But like
when he's not mailing in, he does a great job. When he's not mailing it in, he does a great job.
His Superman's rough.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything else is pretty good, I think.
Yeah. The trouble with Romita Jr. is I don't think he does full pencils. Even though Klaus Janson supposedly did the inks, I think all he did was trace lines.
I got to tell you, Klaus Janson and John Romita Jr. aren't what they used to be back in his Daredevil days.
I don't know. You're probably right, but I just think they don't work well together. And
Romita Jr.'s best works behind him. Like, it takes him a while to. I always noticed, because he was on Spider-Man for so long, that it does take him a while to get the character right. Mm-hmm. And when he was doing his run with JMS, that was his best artwork.
Yeah,
and even
it was
his
great.
stuff on Kick-Ass was top notch too.
But
I think we talked about it before. I think he just needs the right inker paired up with them. A perfect storm of inker and colorist teamed up with them.
Klaus Janson is not doing it for him. But the thing is, they keep sticking him on. They paired it with Frank, with a few other titles. I think they did the Avengers run together back in the day.
That was cool.
It was.
The other storylines kind of stuck out. We had Tomas. I never heard of Brad Walker before, but he did some pretty good eyes. Pretty good. They did pretty much like a money shot of all the villains, like the main villains, kind of like a spotlight issue, which is pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Tomasi's always solid. I know this is kind of we're kind of running out of time, but we'll kind of get into it. This will segue into that. Brian Bendis, I got to tell you right now, I love Brian Bendis' Batman. I think his Superman's horrible. I think he hasn't done much good for DC. But Batman Universe, I don't know if you've read Batman Universe, Patrick, but if you read it, I will put money down right now that you will not be disappointed with Batman Universe by Nick Darrington and Brian Michael Bendis. It's this Batman I've been waiting for at least 30 years right now. When I read that book, I kind of think of you ever hear the Tenacious D song, "Fucker," hard fucking, where it's like, I enjoy Frank Miller Batman, I enjoy Grant Morrison Batman, but then you read a Batman that isn't like as intense and psychopathic, and you kind of remind you don't always have to fuck her hard. You kind of it's like sometimes you can have Batman smile and be like an adventurer and like enjoy what he's doing and enjoy the people around him. There is a little bit in this issue, a little bit of talking head things between the Bat family. We had kind of the
really,
a little bit, but I mean,
really.
But I mean, if I think Batman is on point, is the Batman I like, where he's a detective, he's Batman, he's been around, but he's also not like a ball buster, I can't connect with people, and I'll do this myself. He's like very much like the last thing he says basically is you all did a good job. You're all great detectives.
Yeah.
Pretty much, and Mike, you like it because what's that? Go ahead.
This is Batman 99. This is the Batman you need.
I'm telling you, I would not. If when all said and done, I wouldn't mind if Bendis took over Detective. Because I honestly I think and Mike, you would like his Tim Drake in this. Tim Drake does. They all do like forensics on this body they find. It's this big like mystery of who it is. I mean, it's kind of like it's not like the most earth shattering mystery, but it's pretty good. I really like it. I like the voices. The art's good, but David Marquez does the art, who did Civil War II, his partner in crime. But I'm not defending Bendis on anything else. I think he's put some real shit out there as far as comics go, especially during DC. But I will defend his Batman. I will say
But if we're gonna do that, DC, just give him one Batman book.
Yeah,
Detective or Batman. That's it.
One book. Well, I know Patrick wants to talk about Bendis right now. We can get into it. I have a theory, which I've heard from people, which I'm pretty sure what his next move is as far as DC goes. I don't think he's leaving DC right now. And I've heard some rumblings about where he's going to end up, which may disappoint some people. But Patrick, get into it. We talked about Brian Bendis leaving earlier this week. What are your thoughts on it, leaving Superman titles?
You know what? Like I told you guys when I sent you the story, 2021's looking better already. I mean, God, unfortunately, with all the crap he put on Superman, that's going to take a long time to fix that. I mean, I just think Brian Michael Bendis' best days are so behind him. Hey, that Batman story you're saying? Okay, that's one story. What if he's on Detective for 3 years?
As long as he's not, I don't think he has a long-term plan for character. But if he has like fractured up stories, chunks of stories, that's fine. If he wants to do if he wants to get co-written by do a Brave and the Bold type story in Detective, that's fine. But I'm telling Patrick, you have to read Batman Universe. If you haven't read it, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to make you a Bendis devotee, but you're going to be like. You'll definitely breathe a breath of fresh air and be like, oh, that's what I've been waiting for since I was a kid.
I just find I have a hard time believing because, believe me, Bendis has been sticking up the joint for so long.
I'm going to buy you a copy and I'm going to send it to you.
I mean, God's sakes.
But yeah, as far as retconning everything, I mean, obviously they're going to retcon stuff from the Superman run.
Oh,
but
they have to.
I don't think it'll take that long. We talked about Tinian. Tinian took only like 10 issues to retcon a lot of stuff from Tom King. They've already retconned a lot of the Flash stuff from Heroes in Crisis within one issue. And we see Nick Spencer do the same thing with Spider-Man on Slott's run. So I don't think it'll take that much time. It'll take a little bit of damage control, but
the problem is that what Bendis did for so long.
Yeah.
I mean,
it seems long, but it's only 2 years.
I know it seems forever.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem with Bendis is because his stuff expanded out to other books. That means you have to account for that. I don't know how you do that so easily.
Well, the good thing about it is,
how are they going to retcon? Unless they do it the way they do with Spider-Man, how are they going to retcon people not knowing his identity?
Exactly.
No,
but that's minor.
Here's the thing. Go ahead.
Well, DC supposedly wants to concentrate on young adult stories. So they want younger characters. Well, you think they want John Kent back as being Sage as Damien? I think they. Yeah. And how they got
that's an easy fix. You can throw time travel and all that. You can return them back
to
his original
You have Mark Waid.
That's an easy fix of that.
You have Mark Waid coming back to DC, whose entire pitch for Superman was everybody erasing the memory of Superman. So you could easily fix the whole secret identity thing. Yeah, I mean, all it takes is a competent writer, which I think is going to be Tom Taylor, and I think they're going to steal Jorge Jimenez off Batman.
That'd be nice. I'd give him a shot.
Yeah. Again, I think they should turn Action to an anthology title.
That is Detective.
Yeah. I have heard rumors that they're going to be giving Bendis Justice League.
Yeah. I know.
I don't read it anyway, so I don't really care.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think that's a title that's teetering on getting canceled again.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, and that's pretty. I mean, as far as Bendis goes, I agree. His best days are behind him.
Yeah.
But I think if you put him on the right title, you put him on something like maybe Green Arrow. I think you put him on on you give him a shot at Batman. Not the main Batman title, but give him like a secondary Batman title. I think with Batman, some some short detective tales or something like that. I mean, I don't know. I've enjoyed so far every time he's used Batman. I've enjoyed it. So I mean, that's me.
I think it's fool's gold. I really do.
You gotta read Batman Universe. It's the books in the mail. So I mean, other than that, do you guys have anything to add really as far as
No, I think that's it for me this week. Like I said, I didn't have much time to review most of the books yet. So
I did read Thor. Thor kind of. I think it's a little bit filler right now in between the next title. And I wanted to talk about Flash again. We didn't get a chance to talk about Flash, but we'll get a chance. We can go over some books that didn't come out recently, but we still read. And I think that's about it. Yeah.
Are we done?
I think we're done. So we're going to sign off. Guys, if it's your first time tuning in, remember to like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you get some more Cake Burger goodness. And give us a thumbs up and a thumbs down. And comment in the comment box and let us know what you think.
Tell us what you think.
If there's some books like, hey, why aren't you talking about this? Why aren't you talking about Immortal Hulk? It's almost over, Steve. Why aren't you talking about Immortal Hulk? We'll talk about Immortal Hulk. Jesus Christ, take it easy. You're acting like the Hulk.
We'll do that for Ralph.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about all muscly bound guys for Ralph.
But in the meantime, there's tons of videos to enjoy. Go check them out. We'll see you next time, guys. And that's going to do it for us. We'll see you next time, guys.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye-bye.